Hey there, we're doing messages, and we've got 3 picks. Pick 1, pick 2, pick 3. And see, this is a throwback to how I used to do readings a long time ago. Remember, I would sit on my bed and kind of tilt my camera on my laptop forward so you could see the cards. Yep, that's what we're doing today. Let's start with pick 1. Let me just put these aside. Okay, so before I start with pick 1, I want to say, remember, we're using your own intuition to decide if one or more of these has a message for you. This is just information to reflect on. Okay, pick 1. You chose the word transit. Oh yeah, the thing about doing readings this way is that the cards are going to be facing you, and I won't like that. But I'm going to face them to me, just like if you were sitting across from me at the table and I was doing a reading for you, I would face the cards to me. Okay. You got friendly, affectionate, comforting, and welcoming. Rocket raccoon. Genetically and cybernetically enhanced, this member of the Guardians of the Galaxy packs a big mouth and bigger weapons. A romantic dance. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, dip. More dancing, holy crap. Dancing. Swing your partner round and round. Well, so far, some sweet talker seems to be doing a little courtship dance, but let's see. Or just maybe even just establishing friendship through dance, through some sort of exchange of energy, right? Superheroes. People with special powers and stretchy costumes. Spider-Man. Bitten by a radioactive spider, Peter Parker gained amazing wall-crawling powers. With great power comes great responsibility. And then I've got these tarot cards to represent who you are being in this situation. Scared to lose, willing to jump in, but like maybe putting all your eggs in one basket. I love this open heart. I feel like, what you're going towards, you kind of are in a situation where you're not really looking at limitless possibilities. You're kind of fixated on a certain outcome, which may just be achieving a meaningful, I want to say meaningful experience with somebody. But it could just be that you are targeting someone for a one-night stand. It could be as simple as that, right? But, like, this is kind of saying, like, these are special kind of people, and maybe this like, passing by of energies, right? There's something significant here. It's recognizing that maybe even you feel that, because maybe you kind of really feel like you would want to hold on to this, or you don't want it any other way, or like there's a lot of pressure and like fear around losing it or not getting it or something like that. We got 7 to 8 months as a time period. This is causing you to sort of expose certain parts of your psyche. You really do care about how you're seen here. And you know that your reputation precedes you. Interesting. Wow, it's like the timing is just right. And there may have been a long lead up to this, right? It felt like a dance getting up to this point where there were like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? You know, like round and round, like rounds, loops. There may have been karmic energy to clear out between these two people before they could settle into seeing each other's greatness, and then also like not annoying each other, right? Because like each round that was taken with these two people brought up triggers in each other, right? Like then maybe there was like times where you came together, went apart, right? Like if you were doing a dance, you like coming together, stepping apart, and then like each round like that, let each person deal with their annoyance within themselves, like see the truth of it, that it was a mirror, right? That it was showing them something about them, and then return to the friendliness that would allow them to do another step in the dance, right? And then this kind of stripped both parties, who are both have very interesting, like unique skills that are valuable, and they both can carry great responsibility. What's this one say? People with special powers. Both confident in self. There may be a thing where one wants romance and one wants friendship. But it doesn't have to be that way, because friendship can also, lead to romance. There's definitely something about reputation and how you're seen. And it's like how you saw the other person showed you glimpses into your own psyche. And now even the fact that you're like and attached to an outcome, the fact that you're attached to an outcome is also showing you something about your psyche. So this situation is, you're being invited to look at that within yourself, right? Like open-heartedness really comes without the attachment to the outcome. Let's see what else comes out of this bucket. There really is a specialness about this interaction, because it was meant to help both of you step into your greatness, into the highest version of yourself. And you've met before on another lifetime where this was trying to be achieved. Yeah. Oh. So, say these interactions with another person. Like you were drawn to this person, there was something went wrong, and then you had to step away again. Then you worked it out within yourself, and then you're drawn to this person again. Doesn't work out, you step away again, right? That could be looked at like dysfunction, toxicity, like it's just not meant to be, things like that, right? But if you looked at it like it's a dance, doesn't it feel less wrong, because this actually is one of the ways that we set ourselves up as souls to have a journey into our authentic selves. We've got missed opportunity here. maybe you feel like there was a time where you just didn't show up for the dance, you didn't show up for the interaction, right? And if you didn't show up, then you didn't maybe get to do that uncovering of your psyche. This is 10 to practical things. So it's okay, right? Like, yes, you're on a spiritual journey here. Yes, this did provide you like sort of transportation in your spiritual journey, but practical things are also valid to be tended to, right? Like if you missed the opportunity because you would have seen that person at a party, but you didn't have transportation, it's like, it's all right, like maybe on a spiritual level, like actually you were meant to miss that one because it wouldn't have benefited either party to have had that interaction. Yeah, so if this is the soul plan, right? If both parties are not doing their inner work, then this is not going to proceed, right? There's got to be mutual growth. Potential versus reality. See, something in the vision of the potential here doesn't match the reality, meaning there's an ingredient in the reality of what this is that will prohibit it from reaching the potential that is sought. And how would you eliminate that? You would stop soughting the potential, right? Because like you would look at your attachments and why you needed it to be the way it was, right? Like why did you want that? And then look at that within your own psyche, right? Like ask yourself these questions, like what does that mean to me? What would be so bad about it if it didn't happen that way? And really get to know your own self and your own intention on why you were so attached to that. Are you trying to avoid feeling a certain hurt, disappointment, rejection? Are you trying to achieve some sort of status with how you're seen if you were to have this come out the way you wanted it, right? Like, because maybe what you're doing is kind of cramping your own style, or because you haven't done all the inner work, this isn't going to come out the way you want it to. But the nice thing is there is still a clue. Like even if you didn't get to, come together with this person to get the information of what needed to be cleaned up in your psyche, it's being shown to you now by the fact that you are so intent on this happening the way you want it to happen. Like that is the thing within your psyche that you want to look at and pick apart and find out why you can't go towards this without being attached to an outcome, right? Because there is a larger plan. There's more than one person involved in this, right? They have free will. What they decide has to be a factor in this. And if you come at this allowing it to be what it will be, then you are not going to suffer those kind of disappointments, and you might save yourself some trouble, right? And this is not just for this situation, but like a lot of situations, if you detach yourself from a preferred outcome, that allows the universe to help you line up with what's in the highest good of all. And isn't that what you really want, is what's in the highest good of all? Yeah, there's got to be room here for free spirit, right? For free will of the other person, and for just like being redirected so you don't get burned, right? Like, so this missed opportunity, it's like one party wasn't ready, they hadn't done the inner work, so these parties couldn't come together for that step of the dance that one time, right? After many steps, right? Because if there wasn't a step-by-step growth in both parties, then they then they missed each other on that one, right? So, and that's gotta come into the equation here, right? Because like, if one person is invested in it happening the way that they want it to happen, but the other person's not doing their inner work, is not dealing with their emotional body, is not looking within themselves to see, why they're operating the way they are, if they're not getting to know themselves, then the outcome is not going to be what the potential was. The outcome is going to be, well, the reality is this person didn't stay in step of that dance. They dropped out. They missed a step. They opted to tend to more practical things. They didn't find this something valuable for them to progress through the process of, and that's got to be okay, because this happens in this density that we come into to be when we're having a human life, right? Like we are veiled from our true authenticity to the degree that we don't know ourselves, to the degree that we're veiled and programmed to learn about how society has been living and what patterns are being lived out here, and what patterns may be causing suffering and pain and things like that. And so we're looking at those things, we're freeing ourselves from those things, but sometimes one or both of the parties will get stuck a little bit in those things and like want to avoid some of the pain and not see the benefit of doing so, right? Because like in my journey, I had a time where I was isolated from, people, but I was connected to spirit. And during that time, I got to know myself as a powerful creator, as a magician, as an alchemist. I got to know what's possible here for me. I got to play around with my magic. I got to feel in the flow state and be in that blissful state, right? And because of that, I was able to go and do my work into the underworld, into my own shadow. Because I knew my connection to God, because I knew why I was doing it. I knew I was doing it so that I could live more in that more authentic state. Like the glimpse into my authentic state, some people will do this by using like LSD or mushrooms or something like that, right? But like some people do this with like a little instant spiritual like glimpse, or whatever, or they have an awakening and then they have to go back into the shadow work, and it's different for different people, so none of it's wrong. But in my particular instance, I can see how knowing what I was working towards was really vital to keep me on path. So if somebody doesn't have that, or if they forget about that, or if they get their heart closed, if their heart closes, then they start making decisions out of fear, and they want to, they may value fitting in above doing the spiritual work to progress. So I'm not saying anything of it's wrong, but I'm saying this is why one party here, at least, needs to let themselves detach from an outcome in this situation of this dance that's been going on, because right now some of the ingredients that are going on do not allow for the potential, and that is probably not within their control, because if it's not them, it's the other person who was in the dance with them. And if the other person is not taking responsibility for their part in the dance, then this person needs to allow for that possibility. Yeah. Well, I can see why that would be a difficult situation, but you are being given the heads up and the clues, and you probably kind of felt it already, right? You probably kind of already felt it, especially if this person didn't show up for that step in the dance. It was like, okay, well, I gotta get back to reality, and we can use it the other way too. It's like, well, don't let the reality of it cut you off from what the potential is either, because there is free will. This person can pick up their responsibility at any time, just like you can, right? So there is a great potential here that still exists. What the difference is that you just don't want to be attached to the outcome, meaning you want to know that you're okay either way. You want it to come out in the highest good of all, given what the circumstances are at the time when it's relevant. Right? Right. Okay. Very good. Okay, remember, just take the information that is helpful to you. This is just information to reflect on. And thanks for coming to Earth and doing this thing with us. Yay, right? Okay. Pick two. Pick two. You chose alchemy. Remember, this is just information to reflect on. I'm going to take a look. I'm going to actually face these towards me, as if we were sitting across from each other doing a reading. Let's take a look. I got weak, not strong, sickly. Atlantis, the undersea kingdom ruled by Prince Namor, the Submariner. Interesting, because the first pile referenced Atlantis too. So, this could be the other party to pile one. In pile one, there was a reference to two parties. I was speaking to one of them. This could be the other party. So, if you were drawn to both piles, definitely check into both. We've got an airplane, a Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. At Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, the Wright brothers made the first powered airplane flight in 1903. Okay, so now we're talking about a pioneered adventure here. It's like nobody's done this before. Okay, so what I have the feeling of is, like, in your family line, things have been done and handled a certain way. But you came to look at the weakness that was in your family line for succumbing to this certain way of being. And you came because you've had experience doing this kind of stuff before on Atlantis. And you're going to break free. You're going to set the whole family line free by taking up responsibility for alchemizing this particular pattern. We've got Erase, Lightning McQueen, Chick Hicks, and the King burn rubber to be named Piston Cup champion. You know, I don't really advocate saying, like, that there's a time limit or that you missed it or things like that, but, like, it's been brought to my attention that it is very possible, especially now on Earth, that you are coming to a time where it is crunch time, you know? Like, if you thought you could put this off for a few more years and, like, you deal with it then, if you just always knew you were going to deal with it, or if you just kept saying, nah, I'll do it later. No, don't do that anymore. Okay, the time for that is over, and it is crunch time here. It does matter. It does matter that you do it. We got camouflage. Now you see me, now you don't. And I believe this is saying, like, look, this is going to take you going into hermit mode, getting alone with yourself, not allowing any distractions into your space. Whoever you were normally spending time around is not going to be seeing you for a while, right? Like, because you got some work to do. Bubblegum. It's a sticky situation. See? Yeah. It's like, gosh, I just want to say, don't wait. Don't wait. Stop putting it off. It's going to be okay. You can do this. You're very well equipped. That's why you came in to do this, right? In your family line, there is something that's been carried throughout, right? You're not the only one who has chosen to cope this way. But you are the one who's going to break it apart and make sure that it doesn't carry on for future generations. Because even if there are already children involved, you're going to be an example of someone who could overcome that. And that's all that's needed. You are going to do something different than your family does. So it doesn't mean that everyone else isn't doing it. It just means that in your family it wasn't done that way. But you're going to bring that to your family. So we got hulking out, temper. So is it how you're handling anger, how you're handling hurt? What are you doing to avoid hurt? What are you doing? Are you puffing up your chest and acting a certain way so that people will not look at your weakness or what you feel is a weak spot within you or a hurt that hasn't been processed yet and felt? There's a hurt here waiting to be alchemized, and you're just being asked to do it. So let's look at the tarot cards to see who you are being in this situation. You know about it, maybe you don't feel prepared or able to do it, so you're not working on it. It's like you would rather look at other parts of life that you feel adept at, like making money, going to work. Things that you are what you're cutting yourself off from is true love, is all around success. It's like you could have that job and make lots of money, but like internally, in the cups department here, there's a potential. Maybe your family is used to living very shallow, like relating on a very shallow level. Image really matters to your family. What do we look like? What is our status here? What do people think of us? How much do people value us and what we contribute? Like, there's something here about keeping up an image of what is right and acceptable and fulfilling and deemed as success, while knowing that there's something missing, but like totally, and also ignoring that part, and like just working on keeping up that image of success that you have that is actually very shallow, because it's not whole, because it's not resting on a foundation that is whole, that is built on what is actually valuable, which is love and connection, and the fact that you could share it with somebody else, and the fact that you can trust other people and have like that was not in the relating dynamic in your family. Your family has a relating dynamic where there was like image is more important, like suck it up buttercup, or like or maybe emotions were used to manipulate you, so you just don't deal in that realm. You just go with what, in business we can do transactional relating, which means like we both know what to expect from that relationship, and that's much more safe for you. So that's where you're able to have your relationships, and other than that, maybe a lot of acquaintances or something, but not a lot of close friendships that you would, even if you had the close friendships, are you allowing them to be emotionally fulfilling? Or are you like hulking it out, right? Are you keeping it very surfacey, bubblegummy? Are you like speeding through situations where there could have been more intimacy, Are you like, in and out of situations where any intimacy could have happened? Are you like, oh, I'm here, and oh, you're getting a little attached, out of here? Or is it like that? Alright, hold on, let's see what else. Because I think you do look like a catch, so you probably can catch a lot of flies on your little fly paper of success, but that's just what's happening. Is they're realizing that it's a sticky situation to get caught on your fly trap, because it wasn't all that it promised it could have been, right? It wasn't all that it promised it could have been. Why? Why? Because of this Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Why? Because you're working, but you're not doing the work. Because this would be hard work to delve into an emotional space where there's some weakness and some pain. You've never been taught to do it, and you'd have to get some skills and some tools, and you're really being asked to consider doing what's in the highest good of all. Because if you are luring these people in, and they're getting stuck on your fly trap paper, they're in pain after that, right? Like they don't like that. Doesn't make people feel good. You are probably irritating the tempers in people who you're disappointing. So you've got people mad at you all the time, or angry, or trying to ruin your reputation because it's the only thing you value. You value a good reputation, so that's what they're going to attack. Because you didn't value them. You didn't value their heart, the love, the potential that existed for whatever, which you may have presented as a potential, but was never a potential for real, because that would require you to do some of this work here, which you're not doing. So what is in the highest good of all? That matters. That matters for everything about your life, about the level of success in your life, about what's going to sustain you in life. And, if this is a pressing deadline, so to speak, it's like, how long have you been putting this off? How many hearts have you broken? How many hearts do you think you can break without that karma coming to slap you in the face? When the sticky tape gets stuck and wrapped around your face, what are you going to do then? You're going to turn inward and love yourself, because that's the only way out of this situation. You must deal with those emotions within you, and that means simply loving yourself. Once you love yourself, you will automatically do what's in the highest good of all. It's not that hard. And this will allow you to be happy. This will allow you to deal with any feelings of inferiority. I think you're very confident in some ways in your life, right? And then you're not confident in other ways that matter to some people. There's a soul contract here between you and another person that you were going to do some of this work with. But they made you felt inferior. You felt inferior. It wasn't true, but you felt that way. You're also getting animal spirit totem messages. So if you've got animals doing weird things around you, 3 or more getting your attention, those are messages. You can, look up, Google even, the animal spirit totem message for any animal that is getting your attention, because there are signs, synchronicities, symbols all around. You are an old soul. You've been here before. You took on some heavy stuff. The family line that you came into, and the energy that you came in with, there's a reason. You've probably been living very happily, and the reason that you got so much success is because you came in very adept. And there was a purpose in letting you get financially stable and master what you could on an earth plane. It was always so that you could then move on to do your spiritual work. You said you would do it. Yeah, there's life here that, I mean, that you could, a life that you could be delighted with. So, as I'm saying this, that there's a part of you that wants to think that you're already delighted in life. But there's a part of you that knows that you're not fulfilled. And this is to shine a light on it and create what you want out of life, right? Like, admit to yourself where it's lacking and what you'd like. So inferiority, it comes from a place. It comes from a place where you don't trust yourself. But also, like, is there a childhood wound that said that you're not allowed to be wrong? Because you are allowed to be wrong. Making mistakes is part of our learning process. So heal that part of you that is afraid to make a mistake, that doesn't want to be wrong, because only that part needs your love, and then it doesn't matter if you're inferior. You're always willing to learn. Then you're never inferior. There's a lot of things hidden in your psyche that you've probably not allowed yourself to look at or deal with or look at directly. And it looks like there was a soul contract that brought them out in you. Maybe that feeling inferior in the face of a soul contract, of someone that you were meant to, like a soulmate, like you felt it as a soulmate. You felt inferior, so you brought out your darkness. And maybe you even put it on them, and it caused an ending. All because this work wasn't done. It could have gone two ways. One way was that you would do the work, they would do the work, and then you'd come out to a place of 10 of Cups, 2 of Cups. That's true love. That's success, victory, happily ever after, basically. But instead, you're not able to do that, and then this had to end because that other party could not continue to match you because they took their step ahead, and you didn't step ahead. You stayed in a space of, instead of seeing this in yourself, seeing the darkness in yourself and then loving yourself through it, you saw the darkness in yourself and then maybe withdrew, felt inferior, ran away, did the thing you always do. Which is just like treated them like they were a piece of a fly on your sticky strip. Like, oh, caught in my web, just like the others. And it's like some sort of power struggle thing that you're feeding yourself. It's like that feeds your ego that thinks, oh, I'm powerful, oh, I'm important, oh, I've got this appeal. It's like, look deeper, because that darkness that you showed, that's in you. And it's in you from family line. Didn't get there just for no reason. That's why you came in so powerful. You came in powerful so that you could alchemize this. You're an alchemist. That's why you have all the power you have, because you're alchemizing something very dark. You're alchemizing something that is mean, that is destructive, that is cold, that is callous, that closes hearts, right? Because that hurt that you live out, because you want to avoid your own hurt, and you want to avoid making any move that allow you to be weak to some sort of hurt, because you want to operate that way, you instead keep hurting other people. And how many are there now? You don't just get to do that. This is how many there are. You don't just get to do that with no repercussions, right? Like, you came, you agreed, you came, you had a contract to overcome this. So it's not too late, but it is pressing now. It is kind of getting to a place where, it's like, what else could we do to try to get your attention here? We're giving you signs, we're giving you symbols, we've given you a person, we've given you another person, we've let you trample over a lot. and you seem to think that you're above it because you've had this level of success, but this isn't all the success. You know that because your body is a navigation system, and you know how it feels, right? You can pretend all you want, but it doesn't. Lots of people can see right through that pretending. You're pretending just for you to put on this, but everyone else can see that behind that, it's just this page. Not everyone else. I won't say everyone else. But definitely this soul contract. I don't think that they would hate you for it. I think that they would just be like, you can do it. Come on, do it, right? Because that's a soulmate. That's a person who knows you on a soul level, who believed in you. That's why they agreed to come in with you and play the part that they're playing with you. They believed in you. They probably still believe in you. Just because they had to step ahead. Because whatever you were doing, it wouldn't be self-loving of them to subject themselves to it. You know what I mean? It's not self-loving of you to do it to others. And it's not self-loving of the others to do it to themselves by being in contact with you. So a lot of people are probably having to leave your life. And if not, it's a toxic dynamic if you're doing this kind of crappy stuff to them to avoid your weakness and your pain. And if you're taking pleasure in causing pain, like that's just, sadism, and that's something that you'll have to deal with and heal in yourself. You're equipped to heal very dark things, and it's time. It's really time. Like you're, it's like, do it. Everybody, the Wright brothers made this airplane, like nobody told them they could do it, right? Like they just did it. No one's going to come and save you, tell you what to do. These animals and messages and symbols and synchronicities and even messages like this is just like kind of like poke, poke, poke. You're the one with the power. You are the one who can choose to do it or not. This is just kind of like urgent or remembrance or anything like that, right? All these messages are just kind of trying to wake you up to the remembrance of what you agreed to do. And you agreed to do it because you can do it. And the only part of you that's not doing it right now is a hurt part of you that needs your love, that needs to know that you've got its back no matter what, that you can feel this pain and you can heal this pain, and then you can take the next step and you can do what you need to do, and you can do it so that you can be an example for those who come after you to not continue on in this, because all that will happen to them, the example that you are for those that follow you, all that will happen to them is they'll also miss opportunities. They'll also be plagued with running away from a feeling of inferiority, and they'll also lose out on, love relationships or contracts with soulmates. Okay? True success, right? Not shallow success, not one-layered success. Above the king is, the magician, the alchemist, and the emperor. So there's higher steps for you to go on. And it's not like a hulking it out situation, like tough guy, power struggle, that don't get you there. Alchemy. Study alchemy. Look at Pluto. Look at the 8th house issues in life. Look at where Scorpio is in your chart. Look at where Pluto's transiting in your chart. Or just start with the most uncomfortable thing that you've been avoiding in your life right now. Okay? Remember, this is just information to reflect on. Nothing's gone wrong here. It was a hard message to hear. And I would be very impressed if you stayed to hear it. Very impressed. Okay? You are lovable, just as you are, but you can be happier about it if you do a little bit of work. In the emotional realm, open that heart back up. It's going to be alright. Okay. pick 2. That was your reading. Hello, pick 3. You chose Iris. I'm gonna flip these so that they're facing me, just like if you were sitting across from me doing a reading. Remember, it's just information to reflect on. You got hot, very warm, heated. Interesting. The traveling. There's no time like the present, or the past, or the future. Water skiing. Keep your legs straight. Feet don't fail me now. Gamma radiation. In the world of science, high energy, electromagnetic radiation in the world of the Hulk, a great way to get superpowers. This one came in reverse, which is interesting, but let's see what it says. Hela. Asgardian goddess of death. Hela's power can stop Thor's hammer and cause targets to grow old, wither, or die. Death becomes her. This is in reverse. Nick Fury. War hero, super spy, director of S.H.I.E.L.D., kept young by the mysterious infinity formula. He's seen a lot of action on many fronts. Wow. Interesting. Infinity energy is kind of really standing out to me there. And like the fact that he's kept young, but she can make people grow old. And like she's in reverse here. So what I heard when I was reading all this kind of was like, you're at a point where you could defy death, right? You can defy death. Because like gamma radiation, like that seems like it could kill somebody, but no, it made this person stronger. And this is indicating like there's no time, like this is outside of time. And then Iris is the bridge from the rainbow bridge from lower density to higher density. Let's see what the tarot says. Justice in reverse. Page of Pentacles. And a Knight of Pentacles. Oh. It's like you're turning a situation around. It's like something lit a fire under you. And it's funny to say that, right? Because this guy's water skiing, but we got this hot here. I feel like something has lit a fire under you to take action towards setting something straight or balancing the scales of justice. You know who does that? Nemesis. Nemesis does that. Maybe you may have been dealing with a nemesis that you just kind of have walked away from. I'm just kind of shuffling the oracle bucket. Let's see what else. We got deception, ashamed. So were you dishonest? Were you kind of effing with somebody? Were you holding them back? And now it's really affecting you, and now you have reason to create justice in the situation, and you're having to take the steps on the very practical level, right? On a very practical level, it's like You got the idea. Maybe it's like giving an apology. Let's see. Perception. Justice. Wow. Justice in reverse and then justice. Justice is being called for, and it's like you've got to change something within to be able to give this justice. It's time to evolve. Get into the flow state. Okay? Alright, so tell me more about the shame. You can have victory over this. You just have to go through the shame. Okay, so you may have been acting very selfishly, right? You may be someone who has been referred to as narcissistic or whatever, and that's because you were avoiding feeling some shame. And if you're willing to feel the shame, then you can alchemize it. Like, you can get above it. You can walk away from it and have victory over the situation that you faced by, feeling it, crying it out, loving yourself even though that happened, right? Like God's not holding a grudge against you. There's some sort of inspiration here to let yourself deal with how you feel about things you've done differently. Bring yourself up out of death's door, basically, right? Death's door. And let yourself clear this. It's over. It's over, and all that's left is for you to take the practical steps in the direction of where you're intuitively drawn. And it's the process of healing yourself, becoming a healer. There may be a long way for you to go. Doesn't mean it will take a lot of time, but maybe there's a trip that's being canceled. Because maybe the trip that you were going to take was based on an older version of you. Okay. Yes. Okay. There's something here that's no longer relevant based on what you're going to be doing now. Some plan you had. Oh, you were trying to go towards an ultimate plan that you had. You wanted to go the distance. But that plan was based on an egoic coping structure and something that you wanted that is no longer relevant. And you know it's no longer relevant. You've been reprogramming yourself, and now it's no longer relevant. It's like you don't have to go there. You don't have to puff up your chest anymore. You don't have to achieve that goal anymore. It's like you have done what some people coping narcissistically won't do, which is you've considered new information that was really vital, and you've started listening to your inner urge. And sometimes it's really dreamy, right? Sometimes it's a message in a dream. Sometimes it's just this etheric feeling that you have no proof of, that you would just have to follow a hunch, and it would lead you to the right place. Whether you were ashamed because you really felt like you did something wrong against your own integrity, or if other people just told you what you were doing were wrong, either way, it's time to love yourself into the place where you love yourself even though, right? So that's going to allow you to deal with any feelings and disassemble any coping mechanisms that you have in place that were there strictly to avoid that feeling. And that's going to change what you see things as, right? Your perception has changed. And now you're going to see things from a higher view. And you're going to get some sort of inspiration, some divine inspiration, maybe through an inner urge. But you're going to be in the flow state. So intuitively listening to your inner urge, your curiosity, and your feminine intuition to go towards justice. What will be justice? That is justice. For you to even like start operating that way is justice and is victory. And we got perception manipulation. Tell me about that. Why is that here? Maybe what it is you'll start seeing a lot of places where perception is manipulated, right? Where you maybe were manipulating your own perception or someone else's. Oh yes, definitely in relationships. It's going to be very easy to pick up on when people are trying to get something out of you or get you to see something a certain way. Manipulation of your perception is going to be very noticeable after this. Maybe you're going to get some visions and you'll think, can I trust this? And this is saying angel. Yeah, that's your angels trying to give you a vision. The vision that you were working towards that was done out of your ego, that's no longer there. But what can replace it is this sense of adventure and willingness to go towards what the new vision is. It's going to feel like spooky, right? Like, can I trust this? Yeah, it's your angel. You can trust this. It's very subtle too, right? It's a feeling. It's a feeling. It's a knowing. It's a vision. You hear it. You smell it. Something there is going to let you know. But the only reason this is happening is because you are deciding to take the high road, forgiving yourself for what you were ashamed of and the deception that was there, either that you felt a victim to or that you perpetuated against, and maybe it's just even buying into societal expectations. And once you let that go and you realize that this thing you were working towards is no longer relevant, then you kind of just get in tune with this other way of being. It's like having another sense in order to help you navigate the world and earth and your relationships and all of that stuff. And like, that's basically what this reading is saying. It's like you are in the process of an evolution of taking yourself from a lower way of perceiving to a higher way of perceiving. And your goals are changing. You no longer need to take that long road to where you thought you were going. Because just like justice is that you would allow something else for yourself, something else that your angels are guiding you towards, that your inner urge is guiding you towards, that you came here to do as a soul, that is a reflection of you. Okay? So your essence is wanted on this earth. And the thing that's keeping you from adding it to the soup of our humanity is actually what you're evolving through right now. And it's like it's like something lit a fire under you, like it's now. It's now, and it's also never, right? Because it's like time doesn't exist, and you're kind of getting to that place where you understand that and see that. And you know that it's just taking the next step in front of you, and that whatever is in your path or experience, that it's just part of the experience. It's nothing that can hold you back. That as long as you're taking the steps, you're not going to succumb to an end. You don't need to end things here. There's more. There's more if you'll take the steps. There's no more in the spot you're in, but there's more if you'll take the steps. Okay? Ooh, pile 3. Nice, that's your reading. Thank you for participating. See you in the next one.